Welcome back, everyone. Actor James Van Der Beek died this week at the age of 48 after suffering from colorectal cancer. His death is now making many out there start to think about getting screened for this cancer. According to a study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, colorectal cancer is now the leading cause of cancer deaths among people younger than 50 here in the U.S. Joining us now to talk more about the disease and how to catch it early is Dr. Andy Tau. He's a gastroenterologist with Austin Gastroenterology. Doctor, welcome and thanks for being with us.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we're talking about this in light of what happened to James Van Der Beek, but you know, he is diagnosed with that in 2023, not too long ago, and he was such a young man. But why are cases of colorectal cancer showing up more frequently in younger people?
You're right. And well, if we had the answer to that question, if you had the answer, you'd win the Nobel Prize tonight. It's being actively investigated and we don't have a single answer. But we know that it's not just isolated to the United States. It is a worldwide, global phenomenon in many countries that have different lifestyles and habits than our own. And it's also an age cohort effect, which means that you and me, our generation, is the first generation where our risk of colon cancer will be higher than our parents. That's going backwards, right? And that also suggests that it's some type of environmental exposure. We suspect it's likely more than one thing. Now, we do know there are a few things that you should stay away from. Diets that are excessively heavy in processed meats, red meats. The World Health Organization considered processed meats as a level 1 carcinogen. So do try to stay away from things like that. Also, like you said earlier, it's extremely important to not avoid screening and particularly avoid symptoms.
Yeah, when we talk about symptoms, what are the things that you really want people to pay attention to so that they can go and get the care that they need?
Absolutely. So one of them that's very obvious and should be alarming and never ignored is bleeding. The second one is anemia or fatigue. If you become iron deficient and you have anemia, that's a possible red flag. Changes in bowel habits, those are more subtle, but also shouldn't be ignored, especially if they're persistent, okay? Weight loss, things like that are also of concern. Now, when you start to have weight loss, it typically heralds a more advanced disease.
Okay, so definitely pay attention to that for sure.
Absolutely.
There has been recommendation of people getting earlier screenings for this particular type of cancer. What is that recommended age now so people can keep that in mind too?
45 is the new recommended age. It used to be 50, but because of everything we've been discussing, major societies have all decided to shift down to 45 to see if we can catch these things earlier.
Sure.
Okay, and so 45 is the new 50, and that's if your average risk. But if you have a higher risk, like your mother or your father had colon cancer or someone in your family had it, or many polyps, or you have inflammatory bowel disease or cancer syndromes, then you should call your gastroenterologist because your screening likely will be even earlier than that.
Yeah, another thing to pay attention to. With that earlier screening age recommended for people, does insurance still cover that for someone who might be getting it earlier?
Absolutely. And Texas actually passed a law that mandated that be covered. So at the recommended age, it will be covered at age 45. So all standard insurances will cover that so that there's minimal cost to the patients.
And when I had a chance to interview James Van Der Beek just 2 months ago, talking about raising awareness and some early detection for people, how important is it to get that early detection, to catch that cancer earlier than to let it keep advancing?
Well, no offense, but that very question actually misses a very important point.
Okay.
It's not so much early detection as prevention. You see, colon cancer is very unique. It is a major cancer that can be prevented. No other major cancer has that same feature. Breast cancer is not prevented by a mammogram. Prostate cancer is not prevented by PSA tests. It can be prevented by colonoscopy. Colon cancer can be prevented by colonoscopy because we're hunting down for the precancers, the polyps, and that's what we're shaving off. Of course, early detection is beneficial because it can remove a smaller cancer using surgery or lighter chemotherapy, etc. But really the key is, if you pull the weeds, you can't grow the trees. If you get the polyps out of there, then you can't eventually develop colon cancer. That's really the key. That's our main mission. And at Austin Gastroenterology, that's really our obsession. We've invested a lot of money into technology that uses AI to help detect polyps at a higher rate that the human eye may miss. And so really, if for all those who are listening, if I can see the screen,
yeah.
you know, don't ignore your symptoms, but also don't ignore the screening recommendations and the guidelines as well, because this is the only major cancer that can be prevented. We're out there to help you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, best way to wrap that up then.
Appreciate it.
Dr. Tau, thank you again for joining us and for sharing this really important information.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure.
All right.